detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again for another episode. Tonight we're doing a little bit of a creature feature from Australia, 2007's Rogue. Matty and Jared are with me. Now, before we get to any of this, we will do a quick whip round as to what we've been watching. Jared, do you want to go first there, mate?
Yep, will do. So, I watched a bit of Netflix content this week, The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah, I'm
on that too.
Couple of good episodes.
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles and
the first one.
Power Rangers were alright.
Did you see they're going to put out the movies that made us too?
Yeah, I did.
They're releasing that
Yep.
this month, or next month, I think.
Yeah. It's a cool idea. I think the Toys one's right up my alley. I love
the Toys one's actually probably better because those movies we wouldn't probably know a lot about.
You know a lot
anyway.
of it, yeah. And even with the toy stuff that you've heard about, you get interviews with people that you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're behind the scenes, you get interviews with people that you don't see, and so you get a bit of personality to the stories.
I still couldn't get over the amount of stuff on WWE when it kept cutting to Hulk Hogan going from WWE to WCW and becoming a fucking black-haired
Hollywood Hogan. Hollywood Hogan.
I was just sitting there watching it going, what the fuck is this?
Classic
is this
stuff.
real?
Classic stuff. I'll have to give you those Wrestle Crap books again, mate. That covers all that period, the Monday Night Wars. Fantastic stuff. It's a cool little show though. I watched a bit of stand-up. Greg Davies.
Greg Davies. I love Greg
Highly
Davies.
Highly amusing. Because I didn't know a lot about him other than those clips of him making Ryan Gosling laugh on the Graham Norton show. So I had a look and, well worth it. It was a very, very amusing bit of stand-up. I watched Midsummer.
Are you still trying to work it out?
Oh, fuck, mate. I'd be lying if I told you I could decipher anything. I'd be fucking lying. I had no idea what was going on. But even still, like, it's similar to Hereditary in the sense that it's like everything's very considered. Like, you can tell there's these shots, and you just look at the way they're framed, and you think, the guy just considers all of it. Like, similar to Jordan Peele, everything that's on the screen is supposed to be there. Like,
are you saying that we prefer things that aren't considered? No, shots that are not considered at all.
No, but like it's kind of an experience. Like it's not saying that we don't like things that aren't considered, but there's oftentimes you just get your run of the mill. This is how you play this scene out. You get this shot, maybe an over the shoulder. You get the medium distance, and then when the emotion comes in, you get the close ups. And this guy just, I don't know, everything's sort of long and drawn out. Some stuff it's just kind of like as if you were just having a chat to someone naturally.
They're trying to do things differently. I guess,
and in other movies,
explore it differently.
In other movies, or in a different kind of context, if someone else was producing the movie or whatever, they'd be saying, cut this fucking shit out. This scene could go for 2 minutes instead of 5. And I mean, the thing went for. I watched the director's cut. It was closing in on 3 hours.
What?
So it was 3 hours of me going, what? But I got a little bit of the things that were going on about relationships and stuff like that. But
a lot of head scratching was going on.
A lot of head scratching. I mean, first watch of Hereditary, there was still plenty that I missed. But I got a lot of the stuff. But
it was a bit more sort of
the family relationships and the mental disintegration and this one I was just fucking baffled about some of the things that were going on. So I don't know. I couldn't recommend it and tell you that you love it, but I'd say it's worth a look.
Look, those to me, and this is a personal thing, and I have not hated any of those films. I really liked Hereditary. I liked Get Out. Didn't like Us much. But I accepted what it was. It just didn't find me. They're very difficult to watch because you really have to invest in it. Like, you got to invest. Yeah. You can't just come in blasé and be looking at your phone every 5 minutes.
No. I mean, something like Get Out, like, I got that. I got it from the get-go. I got what was going on.
But it seemed a little more simplified.
It was more simplified, but there was still sort of subtext and there were still things that you could miss. But I was all in on that one. This one, I just didn't I didn't catch on. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot, and I do need it simplified. Maybe I shouldn't watch movies that are considered. Maybe I should just watch the bloody
Banana splits.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's 85 to 90 minutes only.
I'll stick in the fruit bowl. Yeah, it's yeah.
And if anyone mentions anything political,
After-
the subtext,
after 85
I'm
minutes.
turning it off.
I'm like a phone. I've got 90 minutes of charge. After that, I just turn off and no.
I've got 45 minutes these days.
Yeah, my charging's right down.
I also watched. I got Disney Plus,
Oh, yeah, so did I.
so I jumped on Gargoyles.
Immediately.
Jumped on Gargoyles, which was another cartoon.
Nostalgic
that I
right there.
Honestly, that pilot, you could take that and make it an awesome movie. So the pilot goes for like 3 episodes or 4 episodes or something. You could take that and make a killer movie right now. And I believe the rumor was that Jordan Peele pitched Disney
They said
to
no.
make a Gargoyles movie, and it didn't happen. But I looked at that and I was like, fuck, I forgot how good. It's another, obviously it's a kid's one, but it's just got storytelling that's a cut above and sort of complex stories for those kind of levels. But oh fuck, I would love to see a movie of that.
What was your take on Disney Plus just in general of their catalogue, so to speak?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
What I expected.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting. Like, there was a few sort of deeper cuts in there.
What I do
that I
like
was
is
pretty
they
happy
did
about.
roll out a shitload of their old original TV movies from like the late 80s and
Yeah.
early 90s,
feel-good
including
sports movies.
an early 70s one with Kurt Russell, the computer wore tennis
Ooh,
shoes.
hello.
I'm sitting there going, that's definitely getting watched.
Yep. And I think the thing is, that stuff's all going to be there.
Yeah.
So while I'm working my way through some of those deep cuts, before you know it, you'll have all the Marvel What If cartoons and like all the original content will just start pumping out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I paid up for 12 months. So I'm
12
committed.
months. I'm
Yep.
committed to 12, have yet to be hacked.
Yep. No, I might have been hacked. I wouldn't know. I'm too much of an idiot. Like I said, I got 90 minutes. I came out of watching Midsummer and I wouldn't know what was going on. Once I turned the computer on, I don't even know if I signed into my account.
I threw $90 at it and immediately powered down.
Yeah, exactly. I also watched, I'm up to date on The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah? How is
Love
it?
it. Love it. I thought it was really good. Bit of Carl Weathers in the first few episodes.
Carl
Fantastic.
Weathers?
Yeah, Carl Weathers is in there. It's kind of like a Western to start with. I'm really digging it. And the last one I watched was I'm up to date on Castle Rock.
How is it?
Oof, boy, oh boy, it's
found
really
its
kicked
niche.
into gear.
It's found
really
its
kicked into
groove.
gear. Similar to the first season, it kind of got to the 6 episode mark and then just really kicked things up a notch. Like, I think the 7th episode of season 1, I believe, was the Sissy Spacek episode that was really good.
Yeah.
This one, episode 6, is basically Annie Wilkes' kind of origin.
Yeah.
Fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Like, really good episode. And then 7, there's just a twist on things that just recontextualizes everything. Like, it's pretty cool.
Jesus Christ, all right, I better get on that.
Yeah, get on it.
Definitely. And that was it?
That was it.
Matty.
I had a very simple list. I did Toys That Made Us as well. I started that one.
Love it.
Godfather 1 and 2.
Ooh. Now we're talking some real serious filmmaking here.
Love it. Love it.
Considered?
Considered. Extremely considered.
The
Is 2 better than 1?
I don't think it's better. I think it's on par.
On par.
I prefer 1,
Yeah, 1 is
but
fantastic.
I've read the book when I was younger, but I remember reading the book and going, it's got the best parts from 2 and all of 1 in it. So I'm more connected to 1.
Right, yep.
I picked up that Blu-ray. What was it called? The Omerta edition or whatever. I've got to get on.
That's his other book. I just think the first one, I think it happens. The third one just gets so ridiculous with the scale of things, and the second one's sort of pushing that a little bit. But the first one's just everything's in place. Nothing is extreme.
Okay.
Everything is measured. The characters are fantastic. The only complaint I've got is Sonny beating his brother-in-law in the street. That is one of the worst fight scenes ever. The plastic bin, it looks like cardboard. It's hitting him with, but bad acting in that bit. But the rest of the movie's perfect, So
All right. And that was it?
yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been a very shallow week for me. A lot of NBA. That's it.
Plenty of Clippers to watch, mate. You'd be enjoying that.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry we took Kawhi.
Yeah. I went to the Sunset Cinema yesterday to see Knives Out. Fucking awesome.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
It's a new one by the bloke who made Star Wars Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, and it's like a murder mystery like Agatha Christie type of setup. And it's gold. It's got the twists, the appropriate twists and everything. The old house, the murder, everybody's there. They're all connected. Who might have done it? They all start telling their side of the story, and it's intercut, and they do it really well. But it's also got some piss funny moments in it. Like they use a lot of humour. And Daniel Craig, he sounds like fucking Foghorn Leghorn. He says the whole movie. Yeah, he says the whole movie talking like that. It was really, really good. Yeah,
right
it was. He's kind of over the top, but it kind of works still. Like everything about it, and the twists for the most part, like the little twists that you find out at the end, most of them work a treat, and they're kind of not quite what you would have expected. It's really, really good. Definitely worth a look. I watched Dolomite. Here's my name.
Nice.
Yeah, really good, mate. I cannot
very excited.
I cannot express this enough. Eddie Murphy is such a good actor.
Yeah.
Like such a good actor. Like he's not just a comedy actor. Like when you need to bring a little bit of emotion to it, he knows how to pitch it perfectly. It's got really good performances across the board. I mean, Wesley Snipes gets a ton of laughs as this sort of has-been actor is now directing the picture.
Yeah.
And look at Wesley. You start paying your taxes and you start producing performances again.
You keep on the wrong side. Keep on the right side of the law. We can employ you with no hassles, mate.
But yeah, definitely worth a look.
I've got to check that out because Dolomite is actually on Amazon.
It's not, is it?
Have a look at Dolomite as well.
Oh yeah, definitely look at the one that they've made here is excellent. It's really good. It's not like super piss funny, but it's just got these moments, and there's a couple of times where it's just Eddie Murphy's line delivery that it's like you just start laughing for no reason. I watched Blockers. Yeah, I enjoy Blockers. It's
That's
stupid,
because you enjoy things that
and
are
it's
considered.
crude.
I like the
And
kids.
look, who doesn't laugh at having to scull a beer through your asshole?
I forgot the beer animal.
But overall, good laughs. I got a few good laughs. Unfortunately, I also... Oh, no, look. I'm going to have to sit on the fence on this one. We watched Office Christmas Party. Yeah, had a few decent laughs in it, but it also had some absolute shit in it. And it seems to be written by the same blokes who wrote The Hangover, who seem to only write movies about people who get pissed.
That's all right.
Well, it's like write about what you know. So fucking keg parties. That's all you guys seem to know about.
Yeah, okay.
But
Life well lived.
I still got some laughs. It's got a really good cast, actually, surprisingly good for a movie, I thought. And what's that? Kate McKinnon? Bloody hell. Every time I see her, I can't stop giggling. She's always doing this stupid shit.
Yeah.
This
she's
weird
very
kind of
funny.
adding these weird things to it, and it gets quite a few laughs. I watched The Toys That Made Us. The only one I didn't watch was My Little Pony. I think that, although that might be interesting because they've got this real big subculture of like pony
bronies.
conventions, and all that sort of
I
stuff.
need to watch that one. Just
I'll
for
check
that.
it out. Yep.
Now I
Just
came
a
across
completionist.
a show that I saw an ad for and thought I'll check this out. It's called The Unicorn with Walt Goggins in it. He's a widower who now gets himself out in the dating sites, and they call him a unicorn because he's widowed and good looking and what have you. Yeah, I got a couple of laughs out of it. It was all right.
He's a fantastic actor.
He is a good actor.
He's so good.
And it had its moments, but yeah.
He's got a funny head, I reckon.
Need to watch him in that teaching show.
Yeah.
Where is it? Assistant principals? Vice principals?
Yeah, that's with
I've started that. I've got to get through it.
that's with Kenny Powers.
Yeah.
And the last one was it's on Netflix. It's called The Kaminsky Method with Michael Douglas. got some laughs out of that too.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. And actually quite emotional a couple of times.
Yeah, I won't be watching that one.
Yeah, it was good though. It's definitely worth a look. It might be up your alley.
All right, I'll check it out. The I also watched Atypical. I forgot. I've been getting into that.
I haven't finished the season, but I'm about halfway through.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good
about the
stuff.
same. Yeah, I love that show. That's really good. I'm into it.
All right, that's everything. We'll take a break. Here's the trailer for 2007's Rogue.
I'm supposed to catch a boat cruise from here.
So one of the rules of my tour is that you have only one chance to complain about the heat and the flies.
I'm a travel writer for a magazine.
How long are you out here anyway?
Oh, just a few days. Alice Springs after this, then home.
Where's that?
Chicago.
The saltwater crocodile. It's probably the most dangerous member of the crocodilian family. So they can swim underwater at up to 20 miles an hour without making a ripple on the surface. And they can burst out to attack with incredible speed. Don't worry, man, we're perfectly safe on this boat. They won't attack anything bigger than they are.
How big is this boat?
Big enough.
This is a bloody tidal river. Well, that's how high the tide will be when it comes in.
Somebody do something! Everett! Everett! They're not going in the water!
I am getting in the water.
Yeah.
I'm going to swim across, real quiet.
It's an animal out there and it's hunting us.
Move, Marielle! There's two people behind you! Move!
I'm sorry.
Come on, let's go! Let's go! Come on, it's on!
Okay.
We're dealing with an animal. Like a vicious dog guarding a piece of meat in his backyard.
Rogue from 2007. Written and directed by Greg McLean, who gave us Wolf Creek. It's also produced by Greg McLean, Matt Herm, and David Lightfoot. It stars Rada Mitchell as Kate Ryan, Michael Vartan as Pete McKell, Sam Worthington as Neil Kelly, Stephen Curry as Simon, and John Jarrett as Russell. The budget was $26 million.
Wow.
It
Barry
made
Otto.
$4 million worldwide.
4.
I'm very surprised about that.
Yeah, the marketing mustn't have been there.
And do you realise that the largest saltwater crocodile in Australia was 28 feet long? Imagine running into that fucker out.
That's more than, it's almost 3 basketball hoops, right?
Yeah, just shy.
Oh, shit.
So 30 feet would be 3.
Sweet Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that shit out.
Yeah.
Don't want to borrow that. All
This
right.
was based on a real one too, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was called... I can't remember.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, Sweetheart, that's it. All right. I thought this was a pretty solid creature, sort of Jaws meets Deep Blue Sea type of setup. And for the most part, directed with a little bit of style and it had a bit of tension here and there. They did some good things. The crocodile at times looked really good. I think it's a Weta... Was it the Weta Workshop that did it? But the last 20 minutes is a absolute shambles. It's like Greg McLean got to the last 20 minutes and went, what the fuck am I going to do now? And just cobbled together this ridiculous down in the lair, she's still alive. It really undercut things the last 20 minutes. But overall, I'm going to say it was a pretty solid little thriller. So I gave it 3 out of 5.
I was in agreement there, 3 out of 5. Still a bit dirty at Greg McLean. I think I've said it before, but he presided over the only crowdfunding campaign that I've contributed to that didn't actually come to fruition.
Which one was it?
Oh, he had a comic that he put together with a couple of pretty good Australian artists, and
Didn't get the dollars, man.
well, I got the comics, but no rewards packages coming, Greg. I'm pretty sure you can afford to, give us a little bit back here. It's anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you can't if it only made $4 million. That's why.
So obviously you're dirty.
Yeah, a little bit dirty, Greg. But yeah, it's a passable little B movie. Like, the opening stuff is really great. The first hour or so, I loved how it was paced and how much of the crocodile we were getting, or how little, I should say, of the crocodile we were getting. Yeah. And then they get caught on the island, and the dynamics of the group start to come out a little bit more. All that stuff's really cool. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. It pretty much lasts
once they get off the island.
Once they get off the island, it goes to shit, and he gets into the the habitat, the little lair or whatever it is, and. Yeah, not real pleased with that. But overall, it was an enjoyable experience. Really solid cast, and 3 out of 5 is fair for mine.
Yep.
I'll give it. I'd have given it a 3.5 if I had have got my Kickstarter rewards when they were due.
So yours has been coloured by.
Well, let's say I held out hope for 2 or 3 years, but that time is well past now. I think it's been 5 years since I backed the fucking thing. So. Thank you, Greg.
Heads, this is why you didn't go to this film in the cinema? Did you see this in the cinema?
No, I didn't. Never saw it at the cinema. I did buy it. I own it. I've got a DVD copy of it.
But yet he can't give you anything back.
Support the
Jesus, mate.
You're supporting him.
I've seen Wolf Creek. I've purchased the bloody. I've even got a copy of the Belco Experiment in there. Who else has got a copy of that?
Well, have you got the one with Kevin Bacon, The Darkness? You haven't got that.
No, I haven't got that one. I do, however, have 2 Wolf Creek novels as well. So fuck, I can't say I haven't supported the bloke.
Nobody's got those novels except you. You sure you didn't write them?
Only a bit. You've invested a lot here.
Yeah, it's fan fiction.
All right, Matty. Thoughts, mate? This isn't really your bag, is it? This sort of shit.
Look, I liked how it looked. It started out really strong. I liked some of the character performances. As soon as they got on that boat, I was picking off who was going to get picked off by the croc, which was a really, really good setup. But I think it lacked tension in that second half of it. As soon as they got on the island, I was just like, the crocodile's 70 times bigger than them. You could just pick them all off very, very easily. Without, so it just lost all of its tension when they were like, if I'm on land, I'm safe, but they weren't. They still weren't.
Well, they've forgotten the crocodiles can
walk. Yeah.
Well, I did kind of like that they were going over the crocodile behaviour, explaining why they were, and
they did some stuff, and they did.
Yeah, you're right. He could have just wandered on there, and he did once. Yeah. But he's big enough that he probably got hungry after another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, well, so for me, we'll talk about it later, but for me, it was sort of like a 2.5, but there was some stuff that was visually very appealing and just transitions from quiet, open space to fast bit of action, music change, and then you get the quiet ripples on and everything's calm again, It was
I do agree that once it gets on the island, the tension does get diluted because the croc has really got you in the... There's no way out.
That's right.
But I actually found the most...
I was just like, why aren't they just climbing trees or would come up with something?
Well, there were none on the island. There were nothing big enough. But I actually felt that one of the tensest sequences was them trying to climb out using the rope. Because it worked well in the sense that any minute that thing could come out of the water
pull you down
and just grab somebody. So
I was actually a fan of how that played out.
The old sphincter muscle's tight because you're thinking it's going to come up, and then that dildo goes
how you expect
get him up, chucks his kid and him on it, and then creates the dynamic where it's coming down. And again, but they didn't actually. They kind of held it, but didn't go the way it was going to go. Yeah,
it didn't play out how you expected that one,
which was fine. But after that, then
things really went.
But yeah, the emotions that people had just didn't match up with what was going on. I didn't feel like if you've seen your husband get taken by a crocodile, the wife barely made a noise. Yeah, the girl hadn't processed it.
Well, the thing about it too was
she only panicked when they were in the safest place possible.
For that first 45, probably 45 to an hour, they introduced some character traits, but then they didn't really pay any of them.
Yeah, because the ashes in
a heap of them them fucked off, and that was the last we saw of them.
Yeah.
And poor old Michael Vartad's downstairs in the bloody lair suite, having a blue. Like it didn't process anything of
The
what was
payoffs
going
weren't
on.
quite there. Yeah.
But from a likes perspective, the NT looks great.
Oh,
They do a fantastic
What a
job on
location.
film. What a location! I bar your Barra.
yeah.
That's right for tourism.
In the words of bloody what's his name then?
Gavin Wood.
Gavin Wood, your Barra.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it looks fantastic. All those sort of overhead shots showing the ruggedness of the land. But what I also loved about it is it just shows how harsh the landscape is. And if you got trapped out there, you would be in big, big trouble.
Yeah, very isolated.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'll just swim back.
Yeah.
Nah. You
Yeah.
got yourself fucking big trouble. So I love the fact that they kind of set that up. And they also set the idea of they didn't use a lot of sound. You get the sense that it was quite quiet out there. So again, if you're trapped, no one's really going to hear you.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the plot being as simple and as effective, it's a simple plot that actually is quite effective for a while. The whole we're on a tourist boat in
Oh, they do a good job.
Croc
isolating
area.
them. Yeah.
They suddenly get isolated by getting hit, and then they're basically at the Croc's mercy. So it doesn't take too many liberties to
There's
get
like
out of that.
5 minutes of setup before they're on the boat, and then you're straight into it. And then you get half an hour of sort of learning who's who on the boat, them talking a bit about the remoteness and the crocodile behaviour, and then bang, they're on the island. Basically.
And you bring in the yobbos and dickheads as
the
well.
yobos and dickheads. Fantastic.
One of my favourite bits, driving past a boat full of tourists, giving them a dirty great brown eye.
Yeah. Did you catch the
And then going for a
first
chat.
line? Did you catch the first line? It was really the only reason I had to rewind it, and I caught it on the subtitles as well. When it's really soft when you hear it, but he jumps on the boat and you just hear this. I'll keep your shirt on, cunt face. I lost it. I cracked up. I don't even know whether it was Worthington or the other bloke. I think it was Worthington, but he's just like, he jumps on the boat, and when he first puts a foot on, he's like, keep shirt on, cunt face, and then he just launches into what he's talking about. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Initially, I was kind of on the fence initially looking at that opening sequence where the Croc kills the...
I like that.
I liked it too. Eventually, when I thought more about it, I thought, great way in 2 minutes to show the power and speed of these animals and how quickly they can just take down something so big.
And they used what you were talking about. Like they had the kind of the indigenous music.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts out, and all you hear is the sounds of the location.
Yeah.
You just hear a little bit of the water and a couple of animals, and and it's just bang.
And that's normal for out there.
Yeah.
Normalises it straight away.
Exactly. I'm actually a massive fan of Rada Mitchell.
Yeah,
and
she was really good.
Quite frankly, her Aussie accent is fucking as ochre as it gets.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get any more ochre than that.
Yeah, I've got one dislike around that, but I thought her performance was really good.
She's got a nice
did the
mixture
role.
of sort of tough yet emotional. Like, she can do a little bit of both.
Yep.
And she does it pretty well here. It's not really a character movie.
No, her character was a little bit down the line. It was a little bit
Pretty
bland,
thin. There wasn't much there.
but she's just likable.
And most of the cast, I think, does a pretty good job. Michael Vartan's fine. And you got guys like Stephen Curry and Worthington and John Jarrett.
Stephen Curry,
classic.
Stephen Curry is so underrated. He's
Yeah.
a
Original
really good actor, but he's also he's a comedian, so he gets you a few good lines in there as well. But
camera.
Even that sequence where he's talking about he's talking about his camera, and he's going,
nice
check out his
little,
lens.
snap of this one.
Yeah, it is.
Did you see?
And the man of the legend. They did like a slow shot on that shirt
ridiculous.
to make sure you saw it and paid attention to it. And he's like he's a superhero. He pulled off his jacket so that you could know. You see, he's going to save the day.
And I think the cast basically understands the material and plays to that.
Yeah.
The strengths are there. Like I said, it's not an actor's movie, and it's not really a character movie.
He has
They
the
do-
second best line in the movie when John Jarrett's like, "Oh, can you see anything?" He goes, "Russell, shut the fuck up."
He also.
I like all of these lines. So this movie is just tailored.
he
for
also,
me.
while everyone else is looking for other supplies and stuff, he goes down to get a six pack. Comes
Good on
back
him.
with it.
Yeah, calm the nerves a little bit.
My favourite part was Barry Otto in it at the beginning. In the bar.
Bazzarotto, he's in my dislikes only because
I loved him.
Quite frankly, is that bar fucking hell? Because I am not getting a beer from Bazzarotto in a place like that.
Listen, mate,
cappuccino.
it's not that far from reality.
I know, that's the thing. I'm thinking.
He was just setting up. I think it's set up perfectly. Are you sure you want to be here? Is this really where you want to go? Don't swim in the water at night. Like they set it up.
So that was the sad thing about it. Like when Sam Worthington's going past on the boat, dropping his Dax, I'm laughing at it. Then I'm sitting there thinking, no, someone would do that.
Yeah.
that is very sort of.
They haven't got that much entertainment.
Someone in Australia,
they're not going to see these people
in
again.
remote Australia would do that.
Yeah,
Classic tomfoolery.
They weren't bogan enough, if anything.
I had forgotten about this bit, and I liked it a lot. Is the fact that they respond to a distress flare.
Yeah.
Coming from somewhere else, and they go to it to assist, and the way she says, they're all saying, but we need to get back, and she's like, if you were out there, you'd want us to come along, wouldn't you?
That instantly set up the whingers are going to get killed. I loved it.
I'd be one of them. I'd be there going, I would want you to respond, but someone else is probably already there. Let's get back.
I'd be like, what? I'm going to get back, mate.
Who organises their bus for straight after a crocodile tour?
Yeah,
May or
you
may
give
not.
yourself a little bit of leeway.
Come on.
Yeah.
Especially when she goes, oh yeah, we're on bush time now. I'll get you back between 5 and 6.
Yeah. I really like that the croc takes his first victim on the sly. Like, you don't actually see it.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of setting up like a bit of push and shove, and there's a bit of stuff going on, and people are yelling, and then suddenly, and he's gone. Admittedly, surely you would have. I think someone would have seen
splash,
him.
right?
But they show the splash, and then they turn around, and it's all.
I actually had it for a
peaceful.
couple of seconds. It was, his wife started screaming, and I was thinking to myself, what's she going off for? And then I'm like, it took me a good sort of 10 to 15 seconds. It was like, oh shit,
Yeah, it took him.
he's
Took that
gone.
time.
Yeah.
Like that guy as an actor, his American accent is shit house. It is shit house. No, honestly, it's shit. He should have been an Australian. They should have got someone else to rock out an American accent.
Well, you already had Michael Varden there doing that.
Yeah. And he was sort of they were trying to showcase that it was tourism.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all Aussies, but still, his American accent is terrible. I like the guy, but
Maybe a bit of fog leg. Was it
I'll go on leg on. Give me some leg on, mate. And they keep the croc hidden for a pretty sizable portion.
Yeah.
You only see it very, very rarely in
I think
that
the
first.
screen time is a total of about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 7 minutes.
And it's only really seen for about a minute in the first hour. It only comes out of the water once.
Yeah.
You actually see it. And then I think it grabs that bloke and tosses him away and then goes after him again. Takes him away. That's the only time you see it come up out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that, again, playing that kind of, hide it, make it sort of where is it. We don't know where it's coming from. I don't know much about tidal rivers, but I liked it. Chuck a wrinkle in there.
Well, it's the classic,
You gotta run out
we've
of
got
time.
this amount of time
Yeah,
to get this
yeah.
shit done.
We
So
put the ticking clock on, we say
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
Yep.
And this is only going to get worse, and there's no escape. Like, we have to get off.
Yeah, that's right. Even if you had a boat, you're going to get messed up.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm not always a big fan of Sam Worthington, but I've got it. For some reason, I really liked it when his character made it to the island. I felt like it just
Leadership
added a bit
position.
of character,
Yes.
especially because he'd been an asshole beforehand.
Yeah.
So he had to be, you could tell he wasn't going to come out and say, "Look, sorry, I bared my ass at you half an hour ago," but. When he's doing the back and forth with Michael Varden, he's like, "Oh, you're not as stupid as you look," and you can see this kind of grudging respect coming out.
Even though that character development about him and her having had some kind of relationship at some point with Rada Mitchell or something of that nature,
Yeah.
that's the only bit of character that kind of feels a little bit real when they talk very briefly about it when they're on the island together. And it works, I think, partially because the two actors are good. Yeah, look, I don't mind Worthington. I think he's good. He's good. He's good in this role because that larrikin, he can play the larrikin, no worries.
Yeah.
But when he gets on the island, he almost assumes leadership.
Well, he had to kind of swallow his pride and just say, we're all fucked if
And
we
you
don't
kind of
get this going. And
You're kind
try
of
something.
disappointed when he gets killed.
Yeah, massively. Because I thought
hope gets pulled out of the sails.
Yeah.
I thought the movie, when he was in it, on the island, when he arrived, that was some of my favourite stuff. And then the rope scene was good. Pretty much from that point on, it's never as good. Personally, that's what I felt like.
Yeah,
I felt like
I did,
after
and
that
I really
happened,
liked
it's
his
not
death
quite as
scene. How all you hear is
good. Yeah.
He's
turns
just like,
around,
fuck.
it just
And it was
comes out.
unexpected.
Yeah.
It was unexpected because
You're thinking the croc's in the water.
Well, you're thinking he's in the water, and then when the pommy bloke does what he does, you think he's just going to launch and take him out.
Yeah.
And it gets there. This is why I really like that scene. Takes Worthington out first, which is a real disappointment, a real kind of kick in the guts. And then the pommy bloke gets the chance to hit the beach, not the beach, but, hit the shore and say, basically, show some fucking sorrow and some shame for what he's done. And then he gets fucked up anyway. But the bit where he's almost crying on the beach and he's like, I'm sorry. And it was like, that's just a little bit of that. I'm not saying the movie's realistic in any sense, but a little bit of that real emotion where you might do something like that. You might fucking panic and not intend to hurt other people. But then when the shit hits the fan, you have that moment of, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I actually really like that. That's why I like that scene from start to finish. It was really well paced. As you said, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat while they're trying to get across that rope.
I'll tell you what though, don't freeze up on me.
No.
Fuck ya. Don't you
Push
freeze
on.
up on that shit. Mate, we are one chance of doing it. You better get
I'm
across.
shuffling over and I'm taking a little fucking stick with me or whatever, and I'm dangling off and I'm pushing it along. And if you're not going to keep going, I'm just going to.
I'm going over you.
Yeah. I'm going to whack your hands until you fall off into the river and I'm off. You're the bait.
And I think it's what makes these type of movies quite successful is that you don't have a flesh and blood killer. You have a relentless, brainless animal that can't be told and can't be reasoned with to stop. So you can't say, if we just talk it down, this
They
guy...
do a bit of the explaining. We're in his territory.
Yeah.
Bad luck.
Well, that's why the successful ones of these have a bit of character work. It's the humans that make them work.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you
monster
can't
stress,
get anything out of the monster. The monster is one track.
Well, the monster is, as you said, it's on your hammer. It's the source of the drama and the tension. But you need to have people reacting in ways that are going to create that as well. So.
Yeah. I actually also didn't mind the idea of trying to trap it using the boat hook and the two dead. And I actually hate because I would have hated this had they have gone for it, but I love the fact that they do the bit where she looks at the dog.
I've got a big problem with that.
You have to make
Big problem.
and then they get the two birds or whatever they were and use them as bait.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm still a little bit unsure about whether the croc would be really that interested in.
Apparently, it likes the smell of dogs.
Well, that's what it's. That was the line. So they'd set it up. That that was what was gonna go down. But I got a huge issue with how that all plays out down the track. But that particular sequence, I was the same. I liked it.
Give us a few seconds to get across, because all we need to do is get across.
This is the whole thing. You got to come up with plans like that. If they had just gone and said, let's string another rope up, you can't do that. You got to come up with something else.
Yeah.
So you get more and more desperate, which is where the dog sort of thing comes in.
And my last thing for me was there's that classic kind of Jaws-like shot from under the water. Rada Mitchell swimming, and then it just comes out of nowhere and hits her, and then they go straight into death roll. And they actually have the camera in the roll with it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that for
really
ages.
cool.
I was like, we haven't seen a death roll yet.
Mate, 28 feet. I think the death rolls ending in death pretty quick.
Yes, I think so.
Any other likes,
so.
though? Big likes?
No, I think we covered them all.
I like some of the comedy. I thought it was interesting.
Johnny Jarrett, though, always looks like a psychopath, though.
Yeah. I suspected he killed his own wife.
You can put a mustache on him, but it still doesn't help. He still looks... I mean, this is getting into this, he still looks... He looks like Mick Taylor.
I couldn't
He
figure
actually
him
put
out.
in a solid performance.
He
but
did,
yeah.
yes.
I couldn't figure him out.
John
'cause he-
Jarrett is a really good. He's a solid actor.
But he's firing up as soon as anything goes wrong. He's firing up, and then that's when you're getting the Mick Taylor vibes.
And this was around Mick Taylor
Yes,
films.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, Mick Taylor was in Wolf Creek. Now we've got him in this movie. You sure he's not moonlighting in the NT?
yeah.
It's just like, he's just a little bit too associated with that.
Well, you know
Mick
what?
Taylor role.
In Wolf Creek season 2, he ends up on a tourist bus, so he might have just been, doing the same thing here.
Yeah, I couldn't figure him out because he'd blow up. He's come out obviously for this spiritual journey to drop his wife off or whoever's in the canister and then
Drop him straight down a Croc's gullet.
and then it had no real meaning. It sort of opened up that one conversation.
Yeah, the conversation with
It was the one moment with
and
the
that
wife
was a pretty well handled moment.
Yeah.
But it just had no context because it's almost like they were connecting.
Why would you try and put your position into... Her husband's just been swallowed by a crocodile. Why'd you be like, at least it's tough when you don't get to say goodbye. She'd be like, fuck off, mate.
And also,
thanks,
your husband
buddy.
just
Thanks,
acted
right.
like a raging asshole prior to getting killed.
Yeah. It's tough when you don't say goodbye, but he was a fuckwit anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that scene was acted and the way it was written was fine, but it just didn't really pay. It didn't pay anything off for me.
Yeah.
Because after that sequence, they make a break for it.
There was a few things that didn't quite pay
We
off.
never really see them again.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember when I came back to it again, I was sitting there going, so how many people survived?
Well, that's the thing. The dislike for me is there's so many on the boat. I mean, why is the Irish lady there? She has no role.
She asks some
none,
questions and that's it.
which you could have given to any of the other characters.
And let me tell you something, when that croc hits the boat
Yep.
and basically throws it off, someone goes straight into the water, gone. That's Irish chick goes straight in the water, that's the end of her.
Yep. Because really, it kills the American bloke, it then kills Sam Worthington, and it kills the English
the
guy.
English fella, and that's it.
That's it. So why did we have so many people on the boat? Like, I'm not opposed to people getting
I
away.
guess they
and
were
stuff.
playing the
So
whole
why did
who's
we-
crocodile.
going to die.
Yeah, they were trying to be subtle with it, but so if that's the case, why not cut two of those characters out?
Yep.
And you've still got...
Oh no, it also killed Worthington's mate.
Yes,
Killed
true.
him too.
But he was always going to die. he was a right piece of shit, that
Not like that.
I
Getting
mean,
out
he's
of there.
swearing and carrying on. Then he leaves his mate. He lets Worthington fall into the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of the people on the boat, you cut a couple of them.
Yep.
That's what I felt.
Irish-
you cut
Irish
a couple
woman-
of them, or you kill one or two more.
The Irish woman could have gone because she had no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, you could have cut Jarrett. What purpose did he bring? What did he actually bring other than being John Jarrett? And we know who he is.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yep.
His character had no purpose.
I might have. I mean, if you keep him on the boat, then maybe you knock him off at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Leave him with his wife.
Someone could have died in an inconvenient way that had nothing to do with the croc as well. I reckon.
yeah. There's, I just felt
Phil
like there was too
got
many
caught in the
people
boat
that-
propeller.
I don't know. I'm not writing. I'm not
Set
writing.
himself on fire.
I just complain about it.
Yeah. What do these things do?
Try and climb a tree and fall down. Fall out.
Tripped onto the fucking big fish hook they were putting together. Oh well, there's our bait.
In a way, Stephen Curry. Unfortunately,
good.
the majority of those characters have no...
Well, yeah, he came back with the two dead birds, didn't he?
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it have
Where
made
did they
sense?
come from?
Wouldn't it have made sense for
I
the?
thought they were in the boat that Sam Worthington had.
Would it have made
right.
sense for the John Jarrett aged bloke to be the camera nut too, wouldn't it? You put
Yeah,
those two
fair enough.
together.
Yeah.
Well, I think no. I was.
You could have
I
done
was a
some
fan of having-
streamlining of the characters.
I was a
and
fan of
the
like
traits.
I'll have Stephen Curry in any movie,
Yeah.
just chuck a role in there for him. But I just feel like if you're going to do that, then kill a couple more of them or cut them from
Well,
the movie.
you could have cut the other American couple.
Yeah.
Even though that, and you could have used one of the others, Stephen Curry or
Yeah.
John Jarrett, as the one that
As
gets
one that
taken
gets
without being seen.
Yep. I felt so.
Yeah. The first shot of the croc's shadow under the water before it hits the boat looks like a turd. It does. It's terrible. It's
There's
actually
no
the worst.
shape to it, really.
Yeah, it's just
a
this
long-
cigar-shaped thing that flies out of nowhere.
That's an NT cigar.
It
That
look-
one.
Is this the one that hits Worthington's boat?
No, they just shove him under the water and hits the
Yeah,
tourist
it's
boat.
just a shadow.
It's a shadow under the water. It looks terrible.
I actually think
bit of
I'm not
CGI.
going to
doesn't
kick the
work.
effects because I think
No.
for the most part they're all right.
They're
but
convincing.
the part when the pommy bloke gets killed after he's done his bit on the rope.
Grabs him by the foot. And
Yeah,
throws
grabs him by the
into
foot,
water.
throws him into the water. That's where it looks a bit shaky.
Yeah.
Other than that, when you get it in the lair, sometimes the effects are a little bit underwhelming.
Well, a couple of
but
times
for
in the
most
lair, though,
part,
it's
it's
good when
pretty
it stops. So they don't have it moving. They have it sitting there kind of... And it looks 100%
looks good,
legit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it starts
see, like,
moving,
a
it
flash
obviously
of a
looks
tail
different.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's moving or interacting with, like when it's trying to kill that guy, you can see he's kind of just moving around. Like he's not really moving, but his body's moving around
Yeah.
in the shot.
As I said
don't
before,
wanna kick it, but-
Barry Aldo's not serving me a fucking
loved
cappuccino,
him.
a beer, a glass of water in that place at all. I mean, I expected Lord Humongous to be on the bar.
yeah.
I love that he just didn't give a shit about his customers because he knew that they weren't coming back.
Yeah,
It was just
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. Have a fly.
And
have,
it was like
have it on the house.
and
and
him
everything else.
misunderstanding, the service. Yeah, because that's when he's on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, the service is terrible," talking about the phone service, and that's
Bazza
when he
takes
hears
it
it. And he's
as-
like, "Yeah," puts the fly.
And I must admit, I did like that would be exactly what you expect to see in a Northern Territory bar, is all those
Yeah.
clippings of the
Yep.
giant
Yeah.
cocks and stuff like that. And
They're
the
trying to
bloody
scare people,
partially
right?
digested
The
child.
random bloke that just goes. "Bleh." I see that down the street. It's even that.
Yeah, walk into any dive bar in Canberra. You'll find plenty of that.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he walked in there, I thought he was at the Blind Beggars Inn or something like that.
I didn't need to see the partially digested child
Yeah.
photo that they kept bringing up.
They did it in
that was
slow
one of the real
focus
ones,
too.
wasn't it?
I don't know,
So
but
I think those
they,
photos were
they
real.
zoom right in on it.
I believe the photos are real.
I don't need to see that. Jesus.
Probably not that one.
The real big problem for me, please give us the drum about the dog that you were talking about. The dog
okay.
sequence.
So, you say the dog might be the bait, okay? And it shows that people are getting desperate. You've broached it, but then you go, oh no, we've got these dead ducks. We'll go with that. So the dog, I get the purpose that the dog stays alive so he can track down Rada Mitchell. Oh yeah, she's still alive. But then it dies in a very undignified fashion anyway. So why did you resist making him the bait?
Yeah, and in fact, I thought the dog was going to survive.
Well,
After he found Rada
after-
Mitchell and ran off because you spared it.
Yeah. And I mean, they show some shots of the bloody leg dangling out its mouth and getting crunched up, and I'm like, okay, so
You were happy to go down that route.
I actually thought
You like the
why
dog
don't
more than the people. Just to hit it.
No, because I think
actually
what they would have got a bit concerned about is it's okay to see this gigantic crocodile eat the dog, but it's
what
not.
about-
We
I
can't
think-
have it a human being kill a dog and chuck it onto a bloody.
I feel like. I mean, was it any less distressing seeing the croc do that to the dog?
Probably
I would
not.
have felt like you could have wrung some tension out of it and got the dog to survive somehow, but you float him out into the water.
To act
starts
as
to
like
bring
bait,
some
yeah.
conflicting emotions for you too, thinking, would I do that?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to, but I might if it's
In
the
that
last
situation.
resort. Like you start,
Or if it's someone else's dog.
yeah. Well, everyone else was like, yeah,
They could have all turned on her and just
which is
floated
what
it
they
out there.
started to do.
Yeah.
Like even the lady the lady that was recovering from the illness is like, we've all made sacrifices. I've sacrificed for 3 years or whatever
2.5
for
years.
just one more moment with my daughter. So you're going to sacrifice now. And I thought this is a bit of Lord of the Flies stuff. Where,
Yeah, and you're right. They didn't push far enough there. You didn't have to kill the dog, but you could have pressed further as
that's
to
it.
what would have happened.
You broached it for 30 seconds and then you kill the dog later anyway. And I'm like, so why didn't you toy with it a little more? I'm not saying I would have liked to see. I'm not saying, yeah, fucking give me the hook. I'm not tossing the dog out there.
Yeah.
There's conflicting emotions for sure. But if you're going to do that later on, maybe explore them a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The ending.
I don't know how she was alive.
The ending is
She had 3 scratches and was concussed.
It's
And then she
terrible.
became the...
She would have been in half.
yeah.
Yeah. In half. She got death rolled.
Don't they say that, like, pounds per square inch, the jaws of a crocodile's fucking, like,
It took his
1,000
hand
pounds
off,
per
right?
square
It
inch.
took that chunk of his
Pressure.
hand off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Comfortably. And even that it should have made lighter work of.
Yeah. It should have ripped his shoulder.
His whole fucking out.
Yeah. Well, those fingers would have been gone. It wouldn't have even been a struggle. He wouldn't have had to yank. It would have just been snap, gone. Like,
Well, remember that footage of that bloke it was one of the zoos in Australia here? He had all the kids around. Check it out. It's fucking scary.
not Australia's.
No, it wasn't
Sometimes with
Australia.
the head caught in it.
No,
Let's
and
put
he
the head in it.
the croc's just sitting there, and he's in the lair or in the spot with it, and all the kids are watching and everything.
Yeah.
And he puts its meat out like for it to eat, and it doesn't go quite. So it's got its mouth open like that, and the meat's sort of in there, but it sort of falls out, and he goes to put it back in, and bang! It fucking grabs him, grabs his hand, and pulls him back into the water.
Yeah.
And just by sheer luck, he lands on its head.
Yeah.
And it lets him go.
Yep.
And fuck, his hand was mangled.
Yeah.
Mangled. And the absolute speed and the sound it made when it cracks
And
around
how
his
big
head.
was that?
It was
How
a
big
little
was that?
mini one.
Yeah, a
it
little-
was only,
Little tack.
It wasn't
3 or 4
28 feet.
metres.
So if we're talking this one that's making a spacious lair, 28 to accommodate its
It
28
is
foot
ripping
length.
her in half.
This was
Absolutely.
my issue with the crocodile as well. They talk about how intelligent they are and they take ages to, and they learn the behaviour of their prey. If I've got these people on an island, like, the croc, they've said he's smart and he's not going to take the bait, but ends up in this stupid situation with a man with a stick that ends up killing him. Like, it just took away from. I was picturing all those hours of watching Crocodile Hunter and saying Steve Irwin would be shaking his head at this.
Well, that's where the letdown comes in, because they handle so much of it pretty well.
Yeah.
And they come up with reasonable sort of ways that people get killed, and but then Rada Mitchell surviving is just, it just seems lazy. Like, we'll take her and she's in a death roll, but she's all right. She just got
that's
taken
right.
to the lair.
3 scratches and a
And it's
concussion.
obvious that
And
they're
him
trying to go
killing-
with the idea that this has happened. People have been death rolled and survived. But we're
What about
talking
him
about...
They had to-
tiptoe out of the bloody lair.
Most of them had an
dumb.
instance, as you said, that bloke that you were talking about, lucky to land on its head. Some people that have survived said they managed to get a poke in the eye.
Yeah.
And then it let
But
go
you're
or
also
something like that.
talking about a
You don't just happen to say...
30-foot croc.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge.
Exactly.
Biggest there is. I mean...
So I felt like you had to have some better way than, got her and death rolled her. But luckily, he just dragged her back alive. And
You
the
know what I
same with
would've
Michael
done?
Barden, that, like, the climactic fight scene was...
Keep your hands out of his mouth,
Boring.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He puts his hand there.
Yeah.
The fact that they had to
You're
isolate
lucky
the
you only
rock,
lost 2, you idiot.
they isolate the croc in between the 2 rocks, like some of the behaviour that you just can't associate with what they would do. And it gets caught sideways in its own lair.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotcha. Like if you've got a mouse under the fridge, you don't
I actually
try and go
think
through the fridge. Like,
There would have been a couple of better ways to
That's a good
handle
analogy.
it.
I like it.
There would have been a couple of better ways to handle it.
Fridge,
for me.
just get a snack before I take it on.
I would have gone with either staying on the island, just Mitchell and Barton, and they're getting it's the water is rising, and
Yeah, I think
you know
that was the
that
way to
thing's
go
going to
too.
come,
Yeah.
and it's us against it.
Yep.
Just the 2 of them left. That would have been much more tense,
Yeah.
right?
Or how about all of us
Or
go across, one of us is
if-
going to get taken, good luck.
If
No one even flagged some suggestions other than, it was just like, we've got no options. And then
That was
like,
the old way they used to do it, wasn't they? The oldies go at the back, the strong people,
Yeah.
the young people in the middle, or whatever. Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah. Johnny Jarrett, your second back.
The ethical dilemma.
Or if you're going to take her down into the lair, if I have to swallow the fact that she survived the death roll, and she's in the lair, instead of having a ridiculous kind of like, I don't know, battle where the bloody croc's caught between 2 rocks and trying to, why not have that? I was okay with the tiptoeing out because I actually felt that was kind of tense, where he kept looking back and the croc's there, you can see it, and then he looks back again and it's gone.
Yeah.
And why not have it come at him, like, you know, and it chases him out of the lair and comes at him again. Because I felt when we were in the lair, none of it felt realistic at all.
No.
Including the death.
I just kept waiting for
the death was dumber than dog shit. I mean, that bloody thing is ripping him in half.
Yeah.
Just it's not going to launch at him. It's just going to come up and take his foot, and
it's got a bit more precision than that, right?
Yeah, like,
and we've already seen it snap the stick.
Yeah,
we've already seen it avoid this ploy. The fact that you wedge it under a rock is not going to save you, mate.
No, and the stick wasn't long enough to go. Like, it supposedly went all the way through the croc's head.
Yeah,
I think, and obviously pierced its brain or something.
Yeah.
The stick wasn't long enough to do anything like that.
It's kind of nice shot when his head lolled back, but you were just waiting for it, and it was unsatisfying. Again,
it feels like they did such a good job to kind of give us an hour of legitimate, or as legitimate as you could get it, than to just blow all that up.
Yeah.
Because, oh shit, how do we get out of here? Oh, okay, this is what we'll do.
Yeah, it just ran out of steam.
We just cook up this lazy way. And the death roll, you needed to have the death roll, but you could have had it with another character. We just needed to see it done, because that's what they do.
It was almost too powerful, the croc, because you would have been better off with maybe 2 crocodiles or something, or the fact that it just was ploughing through an entire boat meant that it could have taken 2 people away, eaten them, enjoyed it, and it would have been fine to go and just leave them and hang out, you know, and just, like, digest for a while. If I've eaten a person, I'm just going to sit and digest for a while, right?
Well, isn't that what they do?
The only explanation was the territory. It was protecting its territory.
I felt like those two could have got off the little island there and just ended up in a bigger shithole somehow, without having to go to the lair there and have her death rolled and just miraculously survive it. And yeah, I don't know. It was a disappointing end to what prior to that I felt was just a nifty little.
But they could have used those Jaws type of ploys too, like what they did with the hook and the couple of life vests. That's your Jaws ploy, you know, with the 3 barrels.
Yeah. Well, they could.
You know, it's there.
They could have got it back to Barry Otto's and thrown the cappuccino machine in its mouth and shot it and blew it up or something like that. You know?
But you know what I mean? Like, you could have had the water's rising, they're trapped, and that you know that's there because it's carrying the.
Get the local barfly to burp on it and knock it out. Or something.
Well, that fucking croc would not go in there. I'm telling you now. But the floor was bloody dirt. Barry Otto, get stuffed, mate. I'm not drinking in your establishment,
competition up there.
Another establishment.
Although I did have to laugh when he goes, "How about I whip you up a cappuccino? We'll get there. We'll give the machine a bit of a run."
Even usually the remoter areas, they got fuck all else. You got a general store where you'd be lucky to get a bottle of milk, but there's always a top pub and a bottom pub.
Yeah.
Too.
I was waiting for him to say $8 for the cappuccino.
Yeah. City prices.
All right, is there anything else?
The accents. I know you mentioned the accents, and I was a fan of the accents. I read up that perhaps there was a reason for this, that the US distributors were possibly pushing for it to be a little bit more like Crocodile Dundee-like, but there was a couple of times where Rada Mitchell especially had to say a couple of things, and it's just like, yeah, that's over the top. Like, she had to say mate about 1,000 more times than I thought she would have said it, and there's one where you can tell it's just had to be shoehorned in she'll be right. Like, it's just, there was a
I
couple
believe
of times
is this a Dimension?
Dimension,
yeah. I can see why this possibly didn't make any money, because I don't think they really knew what they were doing. But Dimension has a very spotty track record of taking these properties and then not knowing what to do with them or how to market them, and this is pretty well. You know, like, it's got pretty decent reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so it wasn't like it was a piece of shit that they had to bury.
No.
And, you know, I'm not really sure how it doesn't make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You know, it's the kind of thing that you could easily make your $26 million back in the US by just cranking this crap out.
Shit, mate. Meg money. Is Meg any better than this?
No.
Really?
No way. In fact, Meg's worse than this.
It's not.
Meg's worse
really
than this.
not. They needed to put Steven Seagal in it.
That would have been awesome.
And he could have fought his way out of
He could have slapped the croc around a little bit in the leg. Problem was though, when you told
he
me,
would have done the old shh,
Yeah.
the croc, and it would have gone sunken back.
he would have death rolled the croc.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, he would have had to survive. You wouldn't have been able to tell him, Stephen, you're going to get taken out in this scene. He's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, even if you explain to Stephen, listen, mate, if this was legit, if you got in there with one of these, you're gone.
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't go and
I'll
handle
catch it I'll catch one tooth in each hand, and I'll flip it on the other side. I'll slap it around a bit.
Stab it in the head with its own tooth.
Yeah. Any other dislikes?
No, I think I covered mine. Mostly it was the stuff like the dog and the possibly too many characters. And
Yeah.
Matty?
No, I think we covered a lot of it.
how would you have handled the dog as a man who does not like to see dogs put in danger in these?
I would have done what you
situations?
just said. It's used as bait, not killed, but put out in the water as a. Its legs are flapping around as a diversion. Because that could have worked. Again, you're shooting from underneath the water. The little dog's legs are punching along, and you're thinking, "Fuck, this thing's gonna come out of the no." And
Tiny
then
little chicken
what
leg
I
for
would have
that
done
crop.
is done the old. I would have done the old bait and switch. You think the dog's gonna get it,
Yeah.
but then bang, it takes someone else
Yeah.
as they're going across the water. Like that would have worked great.
Yeah.
John Jarrett, for instance, could have got nailed.
I still don't know how the woman with the walking stick got out. She
Yeah,
was
I know.
perfect bait.
Yeah. Yeah, but they had that little emotional moment, so now she's got to lift.
Got to power through.
You know what though? That was the other thing I was slightly not. Why not use her?
She would have been.
She says, "I will.
or
I will act as a diversion."
Yeah, or she
And
says
it's the
something like,
same.
I never thought I'd go out like this.
Yeah.
And her like taking empowerment.
I've got nothing left to lose.
That would have been so much better.
It's the same. She broached it. She said that.
Yeah.
Basically said that. I'm not getting off here because I can't swim.
And the emotions were so mixed, right?
Yeah, so they did it a couple of times where they really could have.
It feels like they kind of had these really interesting ideas that they could have fleshed some more.
Yeah.
But they chose not to. They chose to take this really.
Generic.
And I think that would have cut away all that bullshit in the lair.
I think
There's a little bit more
I
of
think
that.
exactly what you said. It should have been the island.
Yep.
If they couldn't get off the island, like that's where it is. We don't go to the lair. We spend the whole 90 odd minutes, and then the last 10 is, are these two, like whoever the last couple left are they going to get off there?
Because it's just like I've seen this in a few movies. You put a ticking clock on, then you don't use it.
It's like Skyscraper, mate. Are they going to be able to get through 500 levels?
Well, I'll tell you one that I remember that did this, and it fucked the whole movie up. That Battle Los Angeles, where they dropped in to LA to go through and clear out the military guys, to clear out these alien invaders and find people. They're told you got 3 hours or we're going to nuke the joint. And you think, this is awesome. The clock's ticking. These blokes are trapped. They're up to their arse in by the aliens. It's all happening. They got to get their way out of the zone. They get out of there with no worries, and that becomes a non-event. The nuclear warheads coming their way becomes zero interest. And I'm like, so what was the point of it?
Yeah.
And the same thing is applied here. What was the point of the island disappearing under the water when you didn't actually use it all the way? You gave it to us. You said the clock's ticking, and we've put another obstacle in your way.
Yeah.
Well, surely that was
It just
enough.
felt so linear. Like there was no other pressures. It was
Surely
just-
that was enough. You're on the island
that's
and you've
it.
got a gigantic crocodile. As Matty said, it's going to realise, if it's working on the habits, it's like, oh, fuck, they're not moving.
Yeah.
And I'll just come up.
I'll come back in 15 minutes. Yeah. I've already had 2 steaks. I don't need another one.
It surely would have been enough. The dog would have just been like a mini sausage roll.
Yeah, the dog's just a morsel.
Yeah, you go and have that, you're straight back to the plate for another 10 minutes later.
But I'm just thinking, you put that in play, and then you don't do anything with it, and you put us in the lair. And I think they really did it to have like a battle at the end, but yet you could have had the battle on the island. What's the difference? I think that they were trying to, again, cover off on another classic crocodile piece, which is they have lairs and they discard their kills somewhere to come back for later.
Yeah.
And they even say it under a log or in a lair.
Yep.
Not in the fucking Hyatt Hotel of Blair's. That seems to be down there.
She was lying there like Snow White, like
Yeah.
in middle of the lair.
Minimum, she should have been missing a limb.
Something.
Something like that.
An arm or a hand.
nose.
Or...
If it's such a big crocodile, something's.
I mean, it munched Worthington up with no problem.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, when they got to the lair, he was in half, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just his top half that was floating there.
And his face was all mangled.
I
and
don't know,
stuff.
as well, like, he turns the body over, he's like, and then he's surprised that it's a person. Like, his reaction, it was such an overreaction. It was,
I reckon he
I
should-
actually know this person, this is real.
I reckon he should have rolled it over and just, he discovered him alive too, and he could have copped a little bit of, "I'll keep your shirt on, I can't face it."
No, he sees Worthington's bare ass. He sees Worthington's bare ass bobbing along into it. He's like, I know that ass from anywhere. It came past me earlier on today. All right, so that's everything. That was Rogue. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes and Spotify. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and on Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Our next episode. Now, Matty, you threw out Kill Bill,
I'm in.
Volume 1. Haven't seen that in a long time. Not a fan of Volume 2. I'm going to
really?
say that right now. But we will get to Volume 1. Hopefully Gibbo will be back as well. But until then, take it easy and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.